Greetings and welcome to Greenvale Radio. I'm Dan, and I'm joined today by...
Whitney.
To talk some The Good Life, Swery's hot new game.
Yeah.
We have both finished it now. I cannot claim to have come anywhere near 100%ing it. But as I'm showing now on screen, I sure have completed a lot of quests. It literally takes 20 seconds to go through the list of the amount of quests I've completed. It's really an epic amount of quests in this thing.
I have not 100%ed it. I'm pretty close. I still have some shrine missions to complete that are
right.
Get 100 game overs or win 100.
Yeah, the metagame stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I finished all the main side missions that aren't related to the shrine stuff. Yeah.
The character side missions, not the shrine side missions. So, as you can imagine, now that we've both finished the game, this is going to be a spoiler-intensive podcast. We are going to be talking extensively about the plot of the game.
So if you haven't completed it, don't yell at us.
Doing that.
This is your warning.
Yes, consider yourselves duly warned. There's plenty of stuff I never figured out how to do in the game. I never got the quest about the 5 hero statues or 6 hero statues.
Oh, really?
I went around taking their pictures. Yeah, I never did that quest.
You have to actually get that. You have to start it by talking to Elizabeth.
Oh no, I figured, but I missed doing that before Elizabeth died. So.
Well, no, but you.
Oh, when I can. Okay.
In the epilogue section.
In the epilogue, I
can't remember
if
was was the statue thing an email one or the one where you can talk to her. Sorry, it's been a couple weeks since I did it. I think you can just talk to her, and she gives you some more side missions from there. Missions. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of, all right, I'm just gonna do a quick overview on how I felt of the game. And I'm not going to lie and say I didn't love the game. I truly enjoyed playing this game from, I think, almost beginning to end. I really loved the experience of playing it. But I will say that at the end of the day, I didn't find... it's one of those situations where I love the world of the game, but I was a little disappointed by the plot of the game.
Yeah, that was me. I was very disappointed when I finished the game. I was like,
"What?"
I was just sitting there going, "Wait, that doesn't make any sense." And this wasn't what I thought we were getting, because I even looked back at the original Kickstarter stuff, and I realized how much was changed from the initial concept, which makes sense. It was a Kickstarter, but I remember the main thing was that depending on how you interacted with the townsfolk, it could change who the murderer was. Yes. And I thought that was so fascinating. I was really excited about that. That and the changing seasons, which we didn't get either. So I'm thinking here that maybe things were cut for time or it was just too complicated.
100%.
Yeah, this game was supposed to be Deadly Premonition on crack in terms of how interactive the NPCs were in the world and with it, how you can influence them with your character, and I was just not feeling that at all.
That is not in the finished game at all.
No. So I gotta say, I was disappointed in the story, the murder mystery part, because it didn't make any sense.
Specifically the murder mystery. Well, there's no mystery. That's the funny part of the game is there's not really a solvable mystery in there.
No.
You never find out.
I guess we should kind of explain what happened in case some people who haven't played who are just listening because they're just curious what we thought. So it opens up. Naomi has to go to Rainy Woods to figure out the mystery of this town, right? We know that the townsfolk turn into dogs and cats every moon cycle or whatever, and while she's there, her not first night, but like pretty fast, she finds the welcome committee, Elizabeth Dickens, dead in a river with a legendary like sword in her heart. And
A sword which may or may not be Excalibur.
yeah. And the rest of the game is trying to find the secret of Rainy Woods, whatever that might be, for Morning Bell News, and solving who killed Elizabeth. You know, in this such a happy town, who would kill this nice
welcome
woman?
wagon proprietor, this wonderful welcome wagon proprietor.
And so you're tasked with different inane things you have to do. You find out that there's a UFO in the mountains. You find out there's a secret lineage that goes all the way back to King Arthur and stuff. It's so there's all this like kind of fairy tale like things.
Oh yeah,
which you can see.
I mean, well, the townspeople may or may not be immortal vampires.
Yes, like one was whiskey that was called Vampire's Blood.
Vampire's Blood. Right? Yeah, there was whiskey called Vampire's Blood, and the fact that every one of their ancestors all looks exactly like them.
Well, there's some differences. So there's this little mission where you have to look at some portraits, and you have to go, who is this person? And they're slightly different than the character you know in town, and you have to pick the one that's the real person in this day and age.
Who looks exactly the same.
Yeah. So like their eye color might be off, or there's a mole in the wrong spot and stuff like that. So and you also are trying to find out how the hell Naomi got into so much debt with a news organization, the Morning Bell, a New York news organization. And it all like culminates in, so you're doing these tasks, and you also get some tasks from the newspaper through your liaison. Oh my god, I just lost her name.
That's embarrassing. Well, you know what? I'm playing the game now. We'll just go and check. We'll just go and check
I'm
at the
so sorry.
home.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah, she contacts you only by email and will give you assignments to take pictures of food or animals.
Yeah, like, is it really this like filled with sheep? Go get me a picture of 10 sheep together.
Yeah, you know, 10 sheep. That ended up being pretty hard, by the way, getting a picture of 10 sheep at once.
Yeah, there's like one spot
that was not the
you
easiest.
Can get it. But it's actually
I found it.
It's actually pretty close to the sheep farm, so I didn't have to go too far.
Yeah, so, I didn't figure that out until I'd already searched the whole map.
So after getting all these assignments from Morning Bell and you're kind of giving your findings, they decide there's this researcher, this doctor, and they decide to come to the town itself. And this is like the end game. He comes and he sets up this big tent, trying to find the secret of the town, and then he basically bullies you into kidnapping several of the residents so he can experiment on them. And it was very awkward because one of them has you drugging a child. And I'm just like, I
know.
Naomi, it took you this long to realize that you were doing something bad?
Like, here, wait until this character's a kitten, then lure them with drug them with catnip, and lure them back to the place. Like, what?
And
damn it, Naomi.
This mad scientist guy wants to
decrease the world's surplus population by turning them into cats and dogs.
Yeah.
He believes that the vast majority of the people on Earth serve no purpose and are just getting in the way of the evolved people in the world. And so he wants to get them all out of the way by turning them into cats and dogs, so they will use up fewer resources.
Yeah, and he plans to do this by claiming that Rainy Woods is hiding this health secret, for years. They're just hoarding it for themselves, and he's going to expose it on a Morning Bell live stream, right?
Yeah.
And so during the climax of the game, you you're shunned by the townsfolk because you kidnapped some of them.
A bunch of people. Quite
And
reasonable shunning. A completely justified shunning, to
yeah,
be
and
clear.
depending on what your what team you're on, so
Affinity is.
there's Team Cat, there's Team Dog, and then there's Neutral. Depending on what your affiliation is by that point in the game, you'll have different people who will help you in the end game, and you will defeat, well, you'll kind of destroy the live stream as it's happening in a different way. So what
Yeah.
team were you when you got to this point?
I was on Team Cat.
Okay.
So I got to work with McAvoy and woman who works at Town Hall to destroy
Rita.
it by making a fake Rita, thank you.
Mhm.
By making a fake gun.
Yeah, okay. And when I first did it, I was Team Dog because when I was playing, I had more uses for the dog than I did the cat. So
Fair.
I was mainly Team Dog the entire game. And I worked.
I think that also has something to do with you being a dog person, considering the amount of dogs you're surrounded with right now.
Not really, because on the Friendly Premonition server, I asked, and most people were Team Dog because they were using the dog more to find items and stuff.
That is true.
Yeah.
The dog does have more items to find.
I only really used the cat to jump over things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whereas I often, I love climbing on things. And I found, and I know this is a weird thing to do, so whenever I get hungry and, maybe I was short of money or was near town, I just like turn into a cat and chow down on an animal and it fills your stomach right up. I thought that was a really nice thing to do.
I would do that when I got super hungry too, because it does save time from having to go back or find a campsite or go back to your house or go to a store or whatever. So as a dog, you ended up working with William and, oh my god, I'm sorry, I am blanking.
Which character?
William and John.
Oh, okay.
So they're both they both turn into dogs.
Of
And
course.
what you did was you had a camera, which you would take pictures of William and the scientist in front of the glowing green moss.
Yeah.
And doing that will like hurt it, and so the gun will not work in that way.
Oh, okay.
And then if you're neutral, you'll end up working with Pauline, and you'll both, like the night before, drink or try to drink all of the vampire's blood.
Oh, God.
And then as a dog, you'll have to get, well, the thing is, it will be noticeable that there's none in the bottles when the guy goes to use it. The scientist goes to use it on the live stream. So then you have to turn into a dog and then go up and sneak up onto the stage and then pee in the bottles.
Jesus.
So each
affinity has its own thing. Yeah.
Each method has one little thing you're like sabotage. Either it's the vampire's blood, the moss, or the gun. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so
that's crazy.
Depending on what you do, the live stream will fail, and the crowd will kind of turn onto the scientist, because what he has is the townsfolk that you kidnapped. You'll put them in a cage. He has them in a cage in their animal forms, and he has this gun that will show them like turning from human to back to animal.
To animal and back again.
And that's like the secret that Rainy Woods is hiding, the secret health, whatever. And instead, it just looks like he's torturing animals.
Yes. I did like that. When they explain that it's like, there's nothing people on the internet hate more than somebody torturing animals. Yeah. So all we have to do is show him firing this gun at them over and over again, and everyone's going to get pissed at this guy.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually pretty smart.
And they get like, there's two like trending wars going on. Like one is Save Rainy Woods, and I forgot what the other hashtag was, but
yeah, like the secret of Rainy Woods or something like that.
And basically, the internet turns on the mad scientist and Morning Bell, and Rainy Woods is saved. And you have a decision to make.
Yeah.
you can either your Flamingo account has gained like a bunch of followers because
Millions and millions of followers.
yeah. Oh, did you find out her name?
Who?
The liaison.
I'm checking that in a second. I'm just uploading some pictures. Uh, just uploading some pictures of finches to get those precious emokes.
So like
I got really addicted to that. It's Lucy Turner.
Lucy, okay. So
Yeah.
Lucy, who's been your liaison the entire game, she's not down with the Morning Bell's plan, so she came up with this whole little idea. And her idea was to expose them through your Flamingo account. So somehow she's gonna make your Flamingo account and Mr. Lobster Boy's social media account like super popular. So you go from like a couple thousand to like millions of followers.
Yeah.
And during this live stream fail, they're gonna try to cut the live stream, but because you're on the scene, you could still get video evidence of it onto your Flamingo account, and it will still bring Morning Bell down. So,
yeah.
Because of your increased popularity,
yeah.
Naomi is coming to a lot of money.
Yes.
And you can make the choice to take the money and go back to New York, or donate the money to the town and like keep Rainy Woods like a secret, like so it dies down and not like expose them anymore. I think if you take the money and you go to New York, then Naomi, the excuse is she invented this whole thing to bring tourism to Rainy Woods, and it was a smash hit. Like everyone was really into this idea.
Yeah.
And she takes the money and she goes to New York and she's celebrating with Lucy in a nightclub, and then she gets swindled out of her money by this this shadowy person at the club. We don't see it happen, but she still ends up back in Rainy Woods, even if you take the money.
Because you got to be able to do the post game.
Yeah. So,
and I'm not surprised that it ends that way. I think that's very cute, in fact. I think that's very appropriate for her as a character.
Mm-hmm. Also,
you get and then get screwed over.
If you do take the money, you get some extra clothes. So you have some of your fancy clothes. You still have it. And so
nice.
In the post game, you have like this silver jumpsuit type outfit, which gives you a little bit more stats. Like you can drink longer and whatnot. Yeah, so it kind of helps you out in the post game. But that's not the end of it. While she's drowning her sorrows in 1977, this woman comes up to her and hands her a photo. It is Elizabeth walking. Her hair is now more brunette, and the photo she hands you, you don't look at it at first, and she's like, Elizabeth, how is this possible? You know, you're dead. And she's like, I believe the other one left you something for me, and it's the shoes that you had made.
The running shoes.
Yeah, in your first quest, and you hand those over, and she puts them on, they're perfect fit, and Naomi is like, what the hell? This doesn't make any sense. You were dead. And she's like, are you sure about that? And she's like, I have the photo evidence. And she looks at the photo, and instead of Elizabeth in the water with the sword through her, it's the CEO of Morning Bell News.
Yeah, that was a mind blower.
And I'm like, what?
What just happened?
And that's how it ends. And then
that's the end of the main plot.
Yeah, and then you're in the post
literally after that happens, they say one of your missions was find out the mystery, solve the mysteries of Rainy Woods. And after that happens, that mission ends with the statement that you will never solve the mystery of Rainy Woods.
Yeah.
You will never understand what happened here.
Yeah.
You just have to go with it. So yeah, kind of a weird ending.
Yeah, it was disappointing to me because I wanted to solve a murder mystery, and then there wasn't a murder mystery. And I was just
I agree with you. I was disappointed. Also, And I mean, you tell me what you think about this. One thing I found weird about the game was, so you start the game, Elizabeth gets killed, and right after Elizabeth gets killed, you are given the three main mysteries of Rainy Woods, which is what's going on with the old family of Rainy Woods. So you have to investigate the crest. What's going on with the sword that ended up in Elizabeth's chest, right?
Yep.
So the glowing moss, the sword in the chest, and then the mysterious light, and then the origin of the crest of the royalty of Rainy Woods. So those are the three things you have to investigate. And what I found interesting was each one of those, in its own way, feels kind of like a tutorial, because in the one about the one about investigating the crest, basically that whole mission exists just to teach you how to befriend sheep and learn to ride sheep and do all the stuff with sheep. All the stuff with the UFO seems to be designed to teach you how to use the dog's abilities, right? So the glowing moss stuff with the UFO seems to be about teaching you how to use the dog's abilities, because you use the smell to track down the thermos, and then you learn how to mark territory, and you learn how to dig stuff up, and then you learn how to track things with your nose through the fog. And the whole, I'm going to be honest with you, the whole blizzard scene took me like 40 minutes because I forgot that I could track his smell. I'm not smart.
Wow.
Okay. No one is claiming that I'm a smart person. Right? But yeah, it took me, because I kept trying to do it with trial and error, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a dog. I can just smell where he went. Right? And so as a consequence, when you're doing the three missions, it feels like you're learning how to play the game. But then the second the three missions are done,
the game's over.
Instead of the game starting, the game's over. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you feel the same way? Because that's the vibe I got.
Yeah, but I think it didn't feel quite as jarring for me, because as I was doing these missions, I was determined to do a bunch of side missions at the same time.
Right.
So between doing this side quest A and B, I was sniffing and digging and peeing all over the map to find things, to increase my sheep. So it didn't feel like it was over so soon. But if I was plowing through the main missions,
you'd be done this game so fast. Yeah. I mean, I did leisurely take my time and do a bunch of side missions. So I was with you on that front. But at the same time, like, the main quest is so short.
Yeah, it can be.
To a weird extent.
I'm thinking that Swery wanted this to be kind of more of a laid-back game where most of your time was doing these inane side mission requests that would take you a long-ass time. I
did spend 40 hours with the game, so it's not like it didn't take me a while.
This annoyed me, though. What annoyed me the most was that if you wanted to buy something, you always had to find the materials for it.
Yeah, I get it.
That really got me down, and
it got old fast.
It is a slog. Like they've made some adjustments
trying to find
now.
The material.
But
yeah,
I like I said, I'm in the Friendly Premonition Discord, and we're all like hardcore fans of Swery's stuff, and even we were like, this is really annoying. Like, if we're complaining, that's a big red flag, because we put up with a lot. Like, we did the stamps in Deadly Premonition 2, and I'm sitting here going, man, I'm just getting flashbacks to doing the stamps, but at least I know if I complete these, it won't be a glitch at the end where I can't get the last one.
That's true. That's true.
But
I will say this. I will say this, and I'm going to admit that I have the exact same issue with the game. My embarrassing admission I'll do right now: I never made any clothes in the game, ever.
It's understandable
because of how difficult it is to get fabric to make clothes.
Yep.
It is crazy hard to get. They're like, oh, what you have to do is you have to find a bunch of cotton, and then you have to use one of the many mysterious liquids that an alchemist cooks up to do it, which means you have to go and track down a bunch of weird beetles and like
Yeah.
butterfly wings
That
to
was the
make
issue.
any.
Like,
No, I'm just
I
not doing
spent
that.
hours
Yeah,
trying to make a backpack because I had
I
to
know.
search
Me too.
for, and the thing is, some of the stuff you need to get, you're like, oh, well, it's not that bad. You have to go out into the world and find it. Some of it's like animal, like plumage or fur or whatever, except when you kill the animal, you
Yep.
don't always get that. You'll get meat. I got a ton of
Most
meat.
of the time.
So,
Well, no, and I mean, and this was
but
still easily solvable. Sorry, please continue.
but you could get more drops of fur and stuff if you got this potion from the witch doctor, which doesn't
I
always work
know.
all the time. The thing that's what drove me mad is there's so many steps. Like, it wasn't like, oh, you have to find this one material which you can purchase from somebody.
Yep.
No. To make the material, you had to find this shit all around the countryside.
And by the way, the game
Yeah.
ain't sure as hell isn't telling you where you need to look.
No.
And you can't mark up the map to let you
Nope.
remember later where you found it.
It was very like a crowd sourcing thing with other
Kind of,
players
yeah.
of the game. Like, okay, I
You're trying
found
to
a
figure
bunch
out
of
where the rare wings are and
I
where the
found a bunch
bones
of
are.
stuff here in this little section. Let me mark it on my map. You could try there, and it's just
Oh,
it was
no,
very
it was frustrating.
frustrating. And now they've actually edited the game somewhat. I don't know if you were trying to get aluminum cans at one point.
I was, and it was
Yeah,
weirdly
so
hard to do.
aluminum cans, when the game first came out, was you could only find them in trash cans by scavenging as a dog. And only
Yes.
certain trash cans would reliably spawn some cans. But the thing was, you needed 10 cans to make one aluminum chunk. But to make the thing you wanted, you needed like 10 aluminum chunks.
Chunks. Yep.
And it was just like, you needed 600 and
There's
something
no
cans.
way to get the cans. I know.
And people were just like, where can I find cans? I'm drinking these energy drinks. Why can't I use those cans?
Yes.
So they finally, like, maybe 2 weeks ago, updated
Finally made it so every time you drink a can, you drink a
no.
liquid, you keep a can, right?
No, there's still stuff. You have to take the cans you bought. No, you can't drink the liquid. You have to go and trade your energy drinks.
Oh, right.
With another
4 aluminum cans.
Yeah.
Yeah, with one of the random shopkeepers around the side of the road.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. That was so frustrating.
Yeah. So, and there's other stuff like, I know that was pissing people off, was the money situation. So at first, after you completed, the mission A, you got the ability to ride sheep. And it also opened up the little side mission with Douglas where he'd give you trials. There was 3 trials, and depending on which one you did per day and got the time needed, you would get a cash reward. And it used to be, if you completed trial 3 within like 32 seconds, I think, you would get a reward of 750 pounds. Now, that was a lot. Well, after the last update, it got slashed to like 300 and something for some reason. So now making money is even harder.
And making money is always a chore in this game.
Yes.
Like, everything costs to live. Like, you have to constantly be buying food to live. Because it's hard, because you need to get the foods that will keep your health level up. And that can be hard to cook yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I found the best thing. Once I got the recipe for the hedgehog squash, the hedgehog, then that actually helps a lot. Because that stuff will get, like, so you just need some rosemary, some hedgehog, some squash, and then some other stuff, and then boom, it's fantastic. Like, that helps you keep your health up, it heals you, it's like a miracle dish. But before I found that, like, I was constantly just going to the mushroom store and buying, like, the health pie. You know?
I frequented the mushroom place a lot.
Yeah.
Just so my stamina would be larger, so I wouldn't have to stop and walk every couple seconds.
It is. everybody do mission path A as soon as possible
Yeah.
because
There's a
you
reason
want.
it's A.
Yeah, you need that sheep because trying to travel this map without a sheep, oh my god.
Yeah.
It will be a nightmare for you.
That and making sure you open up the campsites so you can cook there and you could store items in your bin.
Oh, yeah, what they don't tell you about the importance of opening up the campsite is every time you do it, you get another like 16 slots
Mm-hmm.
in
In your home
your
storage.
inventory,
Mm-hmm.
which is so useful. Oh my god. Once I did that, I started just running around and doing every single one because it makes the game so much easier if you have that giant storage.
Yes, it does. Yeah, so there's still a lot of trial and error. I noticed at first a lot of people were confused about the mechanics of some stuff, and they finally, after an update, decided to screen cap all the tutorials and put it up on
Oh,
Steam because a lot of people were missing important
how to do
information.
some of the stuff.
Like, and
Yeah, no, I
then
can
they
understand.
also included a book in the house that you could refer to if you missed a tutorial.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the tutorial book. Okay.
So I'm wondering if, like, just playing through it and some frustrations we were coming through, it makes me wonder, did they really play test it for normal
I don't think they play
gamers?
tested it enough. Like I think we can confirm they did not play test this game enough.
I mean, I'm sure they play
Because it's like,
tested
had I
for
been in charge of
bugs,
playtest,
but
oh, of course, but not for playability.
no.
Because had I been playtesting this game, my headline note would have been, "You've got to completely redo the crafting system. You have to
Yes.
make it way easier to find materials." Like, because one fun thing in the game, right, is so let's say I need to find some pheasants. Well, all you have to do is keep pheasant meat in your oh, by the way, one good thing about the game that made me so happy is meat doesn't go bad in your inventory.
No.
So many games, oh, no resources ever go bad in your inventory. And whenever I see a game like that, I'm like, unless you were the most hardcore survival simulator imaginable, I don't want meat going bad. You know, just let me hold the meat until I need it. Don't give me this, oh, if you don't use it within a day, it starts to go bad, and then it will poison you if you eat it. No, this game does not screw you like that, which made me really happy. But anyway, the point I was making was, and this is where I got really frustrated, right, was within the crafting, anytime I want to find a partridge, I can turn into a dog, sniff some partridge meat, and then partridges will appear on the map,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That was really good.
Well, why not let me do that with any resource I want? You know?
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
It didn't happen until, I don't know if you got this, but eventually, if you scavenge bins enough time near someone's like home, you would get an
Yeah.
item that smells like that person. So if you want to find like Rita or something and you
Oh.
can't find her, you could turn into a dog, sniff that item in your inventory, and then you could track that person.
I got one of those and I thought I was just lucky. I didn't realize that was a thing. See, again, and that's showing just how clever this game is, because for all the complaining we're doing, it's a very clever and interesting game in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it
Like,
had
there's
a
a lot of interesting stuff going on here.
yeah. I got it. I got to say, it's just the frustrations with
It
the
doesn't, yeah,
crafting
it's
really
bad.
dampened the experience. I think because I was trying to get through all the side missions I could, and some of them were
Yeah,
like, I need aluminum chunks. It's like, fuck you, game.
I know. I know.
Like when I was getting
Honestly,
these
yeah,
emails, like the first mission was like, I need like an umbrella and a chair and a side table. Well, what's cool is you can find that chair in the world and then just warp back to your house. That's great.
yeah.
But you got to make the umbrella and the end table or whatever. And
The
both of
beach ball.
those required an insane amount of cans. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
come
And that's
on.
why I never completed Elizabeth's quests. Yeah, because it's pretty clear right from the start that the E must be Elizabeth,
Yeah,
right?
clearly.
Somehow. It's pretty clear, but it's like I never got into those quests because how was I supposed to find all these fucking aluminum cans?
Well, little fun tip for you. You're playing on PC, right?
I'm playing on PC, yeah.
Well, there is a bug right now where if you need to make a material, so let's say
Appear?
you're in Douglas's store,
Yeah.
highlight something you have materials for, and then, go do everything but click to buy it, and then take your mouse and then scroll over to the side and then scroll down and highlight the thing you really want, which might be an aluminum chunk.
Yeah.
And then make sure it's highlighted in yellow, and then hit buy. And the quantity, and all of a sudden you have aluminum chunks when the game thinks you're buying like deer hide or something.
Seriously?
Seriously. They have
That's amazing.
They still haven't fixed it.
Fix that glitch.
I remember before this bug, like,
wait, are you telling
out,
me I could have just gotten, like, taken a large diamond and replicated that large diamond 100 times?
Yes.
And had infinite money?
Well, it depends. It depends on if you had, like, 100 other items.
Of that.
But
yes.
Before this little glitch came out, there were people editing the hex code for the game
to
increase their inventory for aluminum cans. I didn't realize this until after I completed the first Elizabeth side thing, and I was like, really? Well, you know what? I'm going to make use of this for any other bullshit aluminum stuff. Which
I need for the whole rest of the game.
Well, no, I was already in the post game by this point.
Oh, okay, you're already in the post game. There you go.
And I was doing Elizabeth's
it's like we shouldn't be needing to cheat our way around this, guys.
But now, if you're gonna play the game, at least now you can just get the dead bulls and then trade them. So it's a little bit easier. It's still gonna be frustrating because you need so many cans. But at least you don't have to search as much. Yeah. Because
you don't have to go through everyone's trash.
I was picking up a lot of dead bulls. I wasn't really using them. So if you're like me and had like a stockpile of them, there you go.
Boom.
You could each can. There you go.
I found a little weird how much cocaine there was in people's garbage bins.
Yeah, that like mysterious white
powder in a baggie.
Yeah.
Like, that's clearly supposed to be cocaine. Why has everyone got so much cocaine in this town?
But I like when you tried to sell it. It was like zero. Yes. It wasn't.
We ain't buying that. We don't want no part of it.
Oh, some other tips. If you're trying to make a lot of money, so do the optional shrine missions. You do get paid a lot more than the personal ones. For example, like completing some of them, I got 500. Pounds.
And a good tip, it's very easy to do the get X amount of game overs. But every time you die, the doctor will take half of the money you have on you.
So put all your money into your bank account. Yeah.
Yeah, so have zero money on you before you start going and dying over and over again. Yeah. It's very easy to complete that one. Oh, and every time you die, it will advance a day. Mm-hmm. So if you're working on another side mission, that is time sensitive, like the beer of the week, be sure to take that into account when doing that.
Also, make sure you have that side mission selected, or it will not count.
Oh my!
A couple times.
So that happened to you too?
Yeah, a couple times.
That screwed up my beer of the week. I like clockwork every day. I went to get that beer of the week.
That happened to me with the demo.
And I got there on the Sunday, and they're like, "Oh, you missed a bunch of days." I'm like, "What?"
No, I didn't.
Oh,
didn't have the side mission selected.
Yeah.
So that happened to me in the demo, but it doesn't happen with every side mission. It's weird.
No,
some of them doesn't make you select the side
ones
mission.
Where I think it is ones where you're just like collecting stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, it just checks your inventory, right?
Yeah.
Or the one where the one where you have to have the sheep ram a certain number of things, or the sheep go a certain distance. It just tracks that itself.
Yeah, you don't have to put it on the side mission.
Exactly. But anything where you have to like talk to someone to make something happen, if that side mission isn't active, it won't happen.
Yeah, like for example, there was one I forgot where I had to make a pie, and I made the pie, and it didn't count because I made the pie
without it set.
Yeah, so I'm like, great, now I have to find more more ingredients so I can redo this and have the side mission.
Exact thing happened to me. Yeah, like you gotta be careful.
So that's one tip for making money. Another tip is be a dog and dig. If you can
Oh yeah.
find dinosaur fossils
Bones, monster
and
monster claws.
and
Yeah.
you sell it and you sell the item to whatever your, let's say, if for example I was team dog, so I went
Yeah.
over to the grocer's. He was team dog. He and I was fully team dog. I got like $200 per.
Per fossil. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Same thing with selling it to at bunnies and stuff.
yeah. So
When you're fully team
go
cat,
go
you get
to
the exact same result.
go to whoever you have the most affinity with. Make sure you're sparkling clean because that makes you
Oh
more
yes,
charming.
and they'll pay you more money when you're
Yep,
charming.
and they'll pay you more money. So try to find those
Shower,
fossils.
do your makeup,
hmm
get some fossils, and then go and cash in.
And another good item was doing the sheep trials. It's now not as lucrative, but it's still there.
There's
So
still plenty of money.
per day,
Yeah.
you could at least get like 300 pounds or whatever. And
Oh,
I know
yeah.
it's difficult, but after a while, once your sheep gets super fast, it's not as difficult. And those
Yeah.
trials you have to do with the sheep, where you have to break so many boxes and whatnot, doing
Yeah.
the trials counts towards that. So the boxes you break in those trials counts towards the total amount of boxes you need to break. I didn't realize that,
Yeah.
so I was just breaking boxes in the world, like
Out
100
in the
boxes.
wild. Oh
And then
no.
I'm seeing in the Discord, oh yeah, I got it by doing trial 3 like
I'm just
so many
doing the
times.
trials, and you
I'm
zip
like,
right through it.
are you
And you're like, what?
are you kidding me? I
I
did it
wasted so much
I did
time.
it the hard way.
Yeah. No, I found out about halfway through that it counted that. And I'm like, oh, this is a relief.
Yeah.
But it's like I will say this, right? And I mean, we've got some. I think there's a lot of stuff to genuinely that is understandable that we'd be frustrated in. But I will say, he's still got it when it comes to characters. Like I really got into the people of this town. Like I got really interested in a bunch of their stories. I think they are fascinating, quirky characters, and I was very happy with it. I think Naomi never gets enough depth, but the side characters for me had just enough to them that I really got on board with all of them.
really I didn't feel that way. Like I didn't feel very close to them. And I think it's because, like, in Deadly Premonition, sorry, I keep going
Yeah.
back to Deadly Premonition, but
You're allowed to. It's the perfect game.
in Deadly Premonition, yeah, you had side missions with the characters, but you could go and talk to them and just have conversations with them. More than like a couple lines, like full-on conversations with these characters. And you could also visit them in their houses, and you could peep in their houses. You got to see how they lived. In this one, it seemed like I only talked to them when I had a mission. I didn't go
Right.
out of my way to really talk with them when it wasn't about a side mission. Because when I did, it was just like a generic, how you doing, Naomi?
Well, but I don't think that's always the case because I got plenty of, and I mean, I've got a bunch of screenshots of this that I'll, start organizing at some point.
Okay.
I can't even tell you. I think I took 1,200 screenshots of lines of dialogue in this game. The dialogue in this game is fantastic.
Yeah,
by the
it's
way.
funny.
Like the
It's
writing
very
is
quirky.
so good.
I just,
Yeah. But
maybe it's because
I did get what felt like a lot of exclusive. Like I did really feel like I was hitting a lot of exclusive dialogue based on the time of the part of the game
Yeah.
I talked to them
So they
to, whether
did-
it was a cat or a dog, what time it was.
They did change what they said and like kind of their movements depending on how close it was to the next moon cycle too.
Yep.
But I
That
just
affected it.
didn't feel the need to go search them out. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing, but they
It
were
might
definitely
be because
they were definitely quirky.
I did get a lot from them. They are quirky. One problem I had that frustrated me a lot is one of the things I love most about Deadly Premonition is that all of the characters are always on the map.
Yeah, you could see where they were. Yeah.
And that doesn't happen here. And I
Nope.
know that it's because they want you to use your dog ability to find people, and that's cute. But like this is one place where, for playability's sake, they should have just made it. We're gonna put everybody on the map.
Or like if you
Just to
did
make the game more playable.
if they wanted to do the dog ability, mark where they are on the map as soon as you sniff the thing or whatever.
Exactly, rather than having to follow scent clouds.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about the game is, like, you can tell it was being developed at the same time as Deadly Premonition 2.
Yes, you could.
Because there are there's a couple of quests that are the exact same quest in Deadly Premonition 2 and this game. Mm-hmm. Like, both the drink of the week and the doctor wants you to get all of the ailments happen in both Deadly Premonition and this.
Yeah, that doctor one. So I don't know if you were like me and you were lucky, but complete the Quest A route before you do the doctor thing, because there's one where you need to become an alcoholic. And once you do that, Naomi can barely see straight, and she barely moves. And if you don't have a sheep,
you are just screwed.
It will take you a long time to reach the doctor's office, because she starts at her house and you got to travel all the way down. Luckily, I had the sheep, so I could just call the sheep and then go down that way. But a couple people in the Discord did not finish Quest A, and it sucked for them.
No. Oh. Yeah, well, I had so much trouble. I think I finished most of the game before I got to alcoholism, because I had a lot of trouble getting a headache. Because the game doesn't tell.
No,
well, yeah, I figured it out eventually.
No, it does.
The game doesn't tell you what your stress level is.
No, it does.
Where?
It does. Look at Naomi's profile image in the top left of the screen.
Profile image. Okay.
It will change.
I am looking at it.
It will change. So
that's the stress level?
Yeah, so whenever you warp home, it's really easy. All you need to do...
No, I just warped home over and over again.
Yeah, you'll see her face go from, like, a smiling face to kind of a neutral face to
the stress level.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so dumb now. Thank you for telling me.
Also, another thing that would increase your stress is not eating. So having a hunger and going out when it's raining and, increases your stress. And so eventually you'll get a headache. I was getting headaches all the time. Headaches and
I got one
colds.
headache in the game because, I got colds constantly.
Yeah.
But as long as you have full health and a full stomach and sleep 9 hours, the cold clears right up.
Yeah,
it's a nice
it does. But I ended up just, because I was doing a lot of exploring and I was lazy. So I'd buy a bunch of medicine from the doctor. Right. It's cheaper to just buy the medicine to go get treatment from the doctor. Yeah.
Oh, question for you. I got a question. Did you find the weather vane?
Yes.
Reading? Okay, I never found the weather vane. Where is it?
It's on top.
Rita gives you this mission that says, go find bird with wings of iron that looks... And I'm like, well, I know you're talking about a weather vane. It couldn't be that hard to find a weather vane.
Yeah, it's on top of the scone lady's house.
It is?
Yeah, it's like right there. It's like on the corner.
Literally, I had to walk out of City Hall and look up, and I would have seen it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
Yeah, it's right.
Oh, I'm so frustrated now.
Yeah, and you have to take it at night too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of the nice, again, I love that in this quirky comedy game, like, there is a surprising amount of, like, unexpectedly adult themes or dark stuff in it.
Oh, yeah. Especially with...
They couched... Well, before you get there, I was going to say, they couched the doctor as...
Oh, God, yeah.
The doctor, the reason you have to do the doctor's missions.
Oh, my God.
It's like, I gotta come up with treatment. My sex life with Rita is so strenuous that I keep getting ailments that I need to know how to cure. I'm like, what? Why would you put that in this game?
Yeah, and also some of the stuff he would say, it's like, or when you did Rita's thing, she would like say things like he's a jealous man and whatnot. I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting some red flags, Rita. Maybe you should not be with George.
I know, right?
Well, perfect name for him given George in Deadly Premonition.
Deadly Premonition, I know.
Yeah, and also the stuff with Martha.
Yeah.
And that, okay. I don't know if we should...
We can spoil that. Yeah, no, it's fine. This is a spoiler cast.
So... okay. So Redmond White, he's the guy who lives in the mansion, right? So
Park Mansion,
apparently,
yeah.
at some point in his childhood, I think he was like 11 or something.
Yeah.
Their father took in Martha,
Mhm.
who's married to the grocer.
The grocer, and her son is the tinkerer.
Yes, and her son is the chink. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it was the tinker John Barrowman.
Yeah, I took a screen cap of all the names because
Oh, right,
I kept
yeah.
forgetting, so I went and I opened up my town register.
Town register and took a screenshot.
Yeah,
Nice.
so there's Thomas is the grocer, there's Martha, and their son John. So when
Yeah.
Martha was about, I don't know, what, 16 or something? I forgot
16,
how
17,
much.
something like that.
She's like a
Yeah,
little.
she was like 7 or 8 years older than
Okay,
Redmond
he's
White.
52 and she's 61. Okay.
Okay, so she's 9 years older. Yeah.
Yeah, so when she was a teenager, her parents, I think, was it a car
They
accident?
died. Yeah, they died in a car accident.
So their families were close, and so they took her in. So she was living with the Whites, and when he was a kid, his father abused her, like sexually abused her, and treated her like a maid and whatnot. And he apparently, I
Yeah.
guess he didn't realize it was going on, but he went away to school, and he got a letter from her, and he basically came back with a posse and took his dad out.
They murdered the dad.
They murdered him, beat the shit out of his dad. And I was like,
I was not expecting that.
my face was just
Given
like,
the tone of the game up to that point, I was not expecting that.
you know, I kind of expected some darkness, given that we had some already had some weirdness with Elizabeth and her brother, like her brother being into her.
Oh, yeah.
But
To
yeah,
be fair,
and
he is adopted.
he like
To be fair, she is adopted, but
yeah.
oof.
But like clearly,
Yeah,
they
I know.
he's just like, yeah, I murdered him. But
Yep.
statute
And he's not shy about saying
limitations.
it at all.
You can't arrest me now. Apparently, in
Well, the law works in England, but okay.
but he's very coy about it. But yeah, he's like, yeah, I did it. He deserved it. Piece of shit type of thing. So yeah, they beat him up, and then
real.
shit. What did they do with his body? I forgot.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they did something with the body, like, because he tells the whole story to Naomi.
Yeah, she's just like
just the whole story, and then it's like, and then she was free to go and pursue her art. You know, and I gave her money from the dad's inheritance, and she was and then she married. Then
but he never
you know,
he never told her that he loved her, but he was just happy to see her happy with like Thomas and stuff, and I was like, oh, yeah. Poor guy.
It's a really sweet story, and it's just told so brutally and matter-of-factly. And then we find out that she might be the director, is full-on crazy, but might still be the legitimate, like, descendant of King Arthur and the true Queen of England.
Yeah, that was a thing. Okay. I did like, so she stole the sword. So the sword is missing, and she stole it, and I guess she's trying to do her birthright or whatever, but she's gone full-on crazy at this point for some reason. And you finally get the sword back, and the sword is talking to you, and it wants to be thrown into the lake. Yep. And Naomi's like, no, I could sell you on eBay. And then the sword gets mad, and the sword just starts yelling, throw me in! Throw me in! I was like, Jesus Christ!
Screaming over and over and over again.
That made me laugh.
It was a really good scene. Like, it's a really good scene.
And
oh god, and I did love that every time she solved one of the mysteries, she would then like try and cash in on it and then immediately get caught. I adore that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. I'm like, oh yeah, you go, Naomi. try to make some of that coin.
Okay, here's a fun thing. Her catchphrase is "goddamn hellhole."
Oh my gosh,
because that's so what she thinks of. Here's a fun thing. If you read that backwards, it says "N Mad Dog."
Oh.
I don't know if that means anything, but I think it's interesting.
I'm not sure. It might. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Swery to put some weird little
something like that is some reverse Easter egg in the thing. Yeah. It's his jive. It's his kind of thing. Like that's the kind of weirdness you expect from the man. All
And
right, who
some
is
other
this?
some other kind of there's some other dark stuff too besides Redmond.
The Redmond White
Um
story.
so Martha kind of went crazy for a bit.
Yep.
Then there was the secret stuff going on with the government and the UFO. I
Yeah.
was like,
And the
okay.
giant computer from the 1950s?
Yep.
And the fact that like the kid with multiple personality disorder is also possessed by aliens?
Yeah, that was weird.
Like,
So
that trigger the multiple personality disorder? By the way, how long did you take you to figure out that it wasn't like triplets? Did you know that right away?
I
Didn't
didn't
know
know
that
it right
away.
away. When I noticed that the name was different a little bit early on,
Oh,
I was like, "Why is this the same? It kind of
kid?
looks like the same girl. How come they're
Yeah.
never together?" And then when I started to do the find the UFO shit,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay. So one of them only comes out on Fridays and
Hmm.
Tuesdays, and yeah. So it took a little bit to realize
Yeah,
that
they
that was
constantly switch which day of the week. So the day of the week decides which kid comes out of the house in the morning.
so Tuesday and Friday to see Charlotte, and I wrote this
Yeah.
other one down. Monday and Thursday to see Clay, and then the rest was Emma.
Yeah, there you
Oh, but you
go.
know what? I think it was at one point the vicar said, or was it Salome? Uh,
Salome, but yes,
Salome. Thank
continue.
you. I forgot. Said that it was having three grandkids in one, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, she does say that at one point, and I'm like, oh, okay. But I mean, I had figured it out by that point. But it's nice that like they actually just come out and tell you if you haven't figured it out on your own. I mean, I didn't figure it out until I had to find Emma for a mission, and like every other time there was a mission, right?
He
I would
got like
load up,
Clay.
there would be a thing on the map, and then it'd be like, wait, she's right there. Oh no, that's Clay. Well, what's happening? And then I went back the next day, and then I went back the third day, and it was Em, and I'm like, oh, it's the same kid. Ah, okay. I was very like, I was impressed that he managed to pull that one off because it's like one of them wears glasses, and one of them carries the
The
bunny
thing
in their
is,
arm.
they have
And
all
the other
the
one
items with them all the time. So like,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
because
the
one of them
hat's hanging
carries
off,
the
or yeah.
and one of them carries the plushie as a plushie, and the other two wear it as a backpack.
Hmm.
It's a nice touch. Like they did a
Oh,
really good job.
and another kind of like dark little storyline is Salome and the vicar. So you think they're all like kind of happy, even though he's a drunkard and whatnot. But
Yep.
like at one point, she says something about wanting to divorce him, and he doesn't know it yet. But it might be easier to kill him.
I know.
I
Like
was like,
that was you just
wait,
blew my mind, game.
what? What?
What is going
Damn.
on in this town?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're not kidding that there's
but the
secrets.
drinking competition. So you're doing this fun drinking competition over who's the best drinker in the town, and then the second one suddenly like it's not fun anymore, and you automatically win because the vicar has gotten too drunk because he's so depressed about the state of his marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, this game just got real in a way that I wasn't expecting at all. And it impressed me so much.
So
Yeah, like there's a lot going on with this thing.
I did like how there was all these little characters in the town you could talk to, each with their own quirks. Like
Yeah.
there's Henry. He's this violinist. He's usually in the park, but he doesn't speak.
Yep.
He only
He
speaks
always
by
plays notes.
playing his little violin. And Horatio is his disciple, and he's very proud of the fact that he's the only one who can
You can
understand
tell what he's saying.
his teacher. And I'm like, going back and forth trying to figure out what so and so was saying got a little bit annoying. I ended up just taking a screen cap of whenever he started
That's
playing
why
music.
I invented screenshots. 100%. That's exactly what I did.
So I was just taking photos with my phone and then going back and like, okay, is that the note? Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's lots of stuff like that. I really did enjoy Rita, who's such a jerk, but in a very fun way.
Yeah, she's very
I
blunt.
love the brother and sister of 1977.
Oh,
You know, the
Michelle and
punk
David. Yeah.
Michelle and David, like Michelle, who's an old school punk, and David, who's like a rugged outdoors man.
Who wasn't always.
But it wasn't always.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice touch. Like they got good character beats, and I think that's one of the things I responded to so much about the game is you're right that the mystery's not satisfying and it doesn't come to a good conclusion. But I still think like even though we don't get those quiet moments with the characters, and that is a real problem because the characters are never really involved in the main mysteries except in their own except to the extent that they have side missions to do as part of those the overall story. And I think that is a problem because, and this is what I wrote in my review for Game Critics, the game's biggest problem is there is zero like urgency to the plot, right? Like none of the people in town seem to notice or care that there has been a murder. You know?
Well, they do mention it a little bit depending on who you're talking to. They'll like say the
absolutely.
murder. But yeah, it doesn't seem unlike Deadly Premonition where it's talked about. This isn't.
Well, yeah, where the whole town is afraid that there's a serial killer running around.
Yeah.
Whereas here, they're just like, oh, Elizabeth got stabbed? Huh. Well, that's weird. And then that's it. You know, like that is the general reaction to it. Is just kind of like blasé in a way that doesn't really fit.
I'm not sure if maybe my disappointment is I was going in thinking like this murder mystery was going to be more than it was. And it was more about just the general mystery of this weird town.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
I think that was my complaint. Like I think that's my major complaint is that you don't really like.
Because I wanted to see
feel
who
like
would
there
be
should have been so much more. Yeah, like who did it? What was the motive?
Messed up to like stab this woman in a wheelchair.
This poor like awesome lady.
They seem all goofy.
Who's nothing but wonderful to this town, you know, and you're all goofy,
like,
and it's
super like, dark enough to want to kill her, you know.
And then we never got that reveal.
It was nobody.
It was nobody.
Yeah.
It was a mysterious trick that an ancient wood spirit was playing on us.
Yeah.
Or something. Like I can't tell you. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, and that the thing is, but her saying that she has a predecessor.
Yep.
Right, so that means the Elizabeth who was in a wheelchair knew that she was on the way out, and the new Elizabeth was going to show up, and that's why she had prepared all of these clothes for the next Elizabeth.
And then when you talk,
and that's a really interesting idea. And is that going on in the whole town in some way? Because again, we have the ancestor problem.
No, I think it's just Elizabeth. Because when you talk to people, they're like, they know something bad happened, but they can't remember.
Yeah,
like
it's
William
weird.
says something where he like knows that there was something that happened, but it doesn't. Okay. Everything seems to be okay now or whatever. So it's like they got. Okay.
I got a question for you, as the person who goes deeper into this Deadly Premonition than anyone who has ever lived. Did you check what the other two theories were? Because at one point, Naomi goes and she talks to, she goes and she talks to Sherlock, right? Sherlock Holmes, a delightful character who has a pigeon on his head all the time, who I just really liked Sherlock Holmes. I thought he was a lot of fun.
That's Swery, by the way.
It is?
The little, the bird on his fish and
chips. Bird on the head?
That's him.
Oh, that explains so much. Oh my god. Anyway, so you go and talk to him and you say and he's like, so what do you think happened to Elizabeth? And you're given 3 options. And so I think it was suicide. And then he's like, oh, you think it was suicide? Oh, Naomi. And then he's like, so you think that maybe she blank, blank, blank. And the theory he lays out for how it could be suicide is the plot of The Missing. Right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so the other 2, did you try I didn't go reload and try the other 2.
No,
so
I
what
didn't.
did you? Oh, damn! Because I wanted to see what the other. Did you do the suicide as well?
I think I did.
Yeah, because you heard him. Because he tells the whole plot of The Missing in there.
Yeah.
As the theory, and so one of them was killed by her own brother, and I don't remember what the third one is. I have to assume her own brother is part of a sick obsession. He would probably tell the plot of Deadly Premonition 2, I would guess.
I
But
think so, yeah.
maybe not. Yeah, like maybe not. So yeah, I thought that was a nice little nod. And in fact, there are tons of nods to Deadly Premonition and his other work in here, which made me very happy.
Yeah, like you can
I
get.
got FK. My FK puppet showed up. That was very nice.
Yeah, like if so there is a side mission from a traveler, and I think that was the Kickstarter guy. That was his side mission, and if you completed his finding out where these photos were taken, he'll give you an FK plush and stuff like that. And I thought, oh yay!
That made me really happy. FK plush and the donut lad standee, which I thought was very
and
nice.
And he actually used those in the third email to set up in your in your garden. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's sweet.
So there was a connection with that plot. I was like, oh yeah, I'm glad there is an FK in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting Willie to turn up at some point, but I never did find Willie. Although, you know what? There might be copyright reasons he can't have Willie turn up.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that there are legal reasons that he can't have Willie turn up, because it's not like this one was published by Rising Star Games, you know? It's he's directed these games and he's co-producing them with other studios, but he doesn't like own the rights to make Deadly Premonition.
But I mean,
games.
they were still able to get some like Deadly Premonition 2 stuff in there.
They did. They were able to get some of the missing stuff in there. So maybe they could have, and he just decided against it. But I was sad for whatever reason that it didn't turn up, because I thought that would have been a nice little nod to us, the longtime fans.
I did like exploring. It was kind of fun to see the different countryside and whatnot.
Areas of the town.
But I was a little bit sad when I visited the other villages, and the NPCs were very generic. There's like man.
Yeah, man, woman, child, old man.
Yeah, I mean they had some like conversations. Like if you chatted with some shopkeepers and whatnot, they'd have like a line about, you know, liking a book or music or whatever.
We had a couple of unique conversations, absolutely.
But they just sort of just stood around
outside of the city, and they don't have, as you say, they don't have lives of their own. And like the shopkeepers who sell stuff out of their trade out of their trucks. They're not shopkeepers.
They never
leave.
Just traders.
They never leave. They're always there 24 hours a day.
Just standing in the rain. It was like
hanging out. Like, guys, at least get an umbrella or something. Come on.
Yeah, so I was hoping for a little bit more. I was thinking maybe there'd be NPC that wasn't part of Rainy Woods that would be more fleshed out, but that
didn't end up happening.
How did you feel about combat in this game?
Not great, but there's such a tiny amount of it that it didn't bother me as much. At its core, they needed a dodge button or something.
Well, you could just dodge with your moving the analog stick.
What I'm saying is, like, the only way to play the combat, and this is true of every fight in the game, is to run away from the enemy until they attack, and then while they're on cooldown from attacking, you bite them, then run away till they attack, then while they're on cooldown from attacking, bite them, and just do that over and over again until they die.
I would just I would do circles and jump and stuff.
That's what I did. Yeah. You're describing exactly my experience with the game. And so, like, literally, that's every fight in the game. And there's only one mandatory fight in the entire game, which is good. But, like, if they had let you lock onto the enemy, for example, and give you a dodge button, so, like, you could dodge when they attack and then do a counter, I think that would have worked a lot better. And that's how most other games of this ilk work. So, instead of doing this manual running around, like, they should have made it easier as a tug-of-war kind of thing, where you have to dodge, counter, dodge, counter, dodge, counter. Like, that system of dodging and countering, like parrying and countering, has worked since Prince of Persia, and there's a reason for that. It's a good way to do a simple combat system in a game that doesn't need a complex one. And this is a game that doesn't need a complex combat system. by any means. Like, it just doesn't. And so they could have made the combat better. It's not as bad as Deadly Premonition's combat, obviously, but it is not great by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, those badgers are vicious, man. I'm here. I am just popping up at a shrine, and they're already attacking me when I don't even have control. I'm like, come on, guys!
There are 5 badgers. Like, I'm like, oh, I'll just explore the mine. Oh, yay! Martha's going to paint. I'm down by the lake, and Martha just ran in to do some painting. Oh, then she left. All right, well, that was disappointing.
And a couple...
But yeah, like the badgers. When you get swarmed by badgers, just teleport home. Seriously, just the second you see 3 badgers, the only way out is just teleport home.
No, I fought them. Fuck them, man.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I did.
I kept getting killed when I tried to fight them.
I was like, fuck these guys. You guys attack me? Get ready to get your asses handed to you. Yeah, I got pretty good at defeating the badgers thanks to trying to find materials for hours.
Yeah, no. I will say, getting the potion, like getting a food, like massively increases your combat strength and increases your health.
And don't forget the potions from Pauline. There's like Claws of Fury, or no, wait, no, that's for the checking. Well, there's one that increases your attack, and also increases your defense. There's like 2 separate ones.
And it's not like you're gonna one-hit enemies, but you're gonna do a lot more damage, and it's gonna make the fights go a lot faster.
So now, like, I was always a dog, so I was. Well, you could actually you could always kick them too as Naomi, and the cat could take care of like birds in one hit. So I'd often switch to the cat to take care of birds.
It can birds, foxes, whatever, like anything. Birds, foxes, hedgehogs, mice, any small animal. Anything small, like less deadly than a hedgehog, the cat can kill in 1 hit. And then anything bigger than that, you need the cat. Oh, hey, did you ever see hedgehogs attacking other animals? Because I did.
No.
Yeah, the hedgehogs. I saw hedgehogs attacking deer.
Oh, jeez.
And the deer fighting back. And I'm like, this is crazy. Okay, I had no idea this could happen. But that can happen. Yeah, you know how the deer are basically only in that... I mean, they're in a bunch of places, but you can only reliably find them in the Dirgshaw Forest.
Well, on the mountain, too.
Yeah, they're harder to find in the mountain. If you go to Dirgashar Forest...
Really.
With all the,
you go to the mountain, there's like a whole bunch of them after you complete that quest.
UFO man. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
There's like a ton. I was like, wow, I wish I knew this earlier instead of going to the forest and waiting until it was
running around in circles
the
until they
evening,
shut up.
And then maybe fighting 5 of them. I could have had like 20 of them to fight on the mountain. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, all deer products are very valuable. Like, not only can you cook them into great meals, but like it sells for a lot of money. So like the deer stuff sells for a good amount of money. So it's, if you get yourself like physically ready to hunt deer, they're always a good thing to hunt.
Yeah. And I did find it weird that we couldn't actually kill the sheep or cows, but you could still buy the meat from the shops and whatnot.
I know.
And I was sad there wasn't any fishing.
I didn't really want to kill any sheep. It's weird that there wasn't any fishing. Like, it really seems like of any game, this one should have fishing.
I mean, it's so laid back.
There's so many, like, lakes and streams. It's so laid back. It's such a chill experience. Like, obviously, you should just be hanging out on a pier or, like, sitting in a chair and doing some fishing.
Yeah.
It's like, how crazy it is that the Deadly Premonition has fishing, and this doesn't.
I know. This had, like, more... I don't know. I mean, Deadly Premonition did have a lot of water you could go to, but this is just all over the place. It's like, oh, this would be a perfect spot to fish.
Oh, yeah. And I kept having that over and over and over again.
I did appreciate the variety of animal life. That was pretty cool to see.
Oh, yeah. Lots of different animals kicking around.
And there was variety of landscapes, too, so you kind of could tell where you were on the map just based on the...
Yeah, I never got lost. Like, the game has a good map. Right? It actually does have a good map.
It zooms out and in.
It does zoom out and in, which is nice. But more importantly, though, like, I really didn't, like, you're right that the landscape changes enough that you always have a sense of where you are. and not just because your house is always on the map, which is the mini map, which is nice.
Yeah.
But you really do get a sense of where you are just based on the landscape you're experiencing, which is a very nice choice.
And
I wish my sheep could jump over walls.
Yes, that was annoying. I also wish
Okay.
my dog could also jump over. Sometimes I could get over as a dog, but a lot of times I have to switch to a cat. So that was like another little frustrating thing, was the switching from cat to dog or dog to cat. You had to go cat, Naomi, dog. Naomi, cat. It was just like,
and you gotta wait 5 seconds per transformation.
Yeah.
It gets old.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to just go across the countryside and you can't have to keep jumping over fences.
I know.
Because the cat,
like,
the cat is slower. It's slower than the dog and whatnot.
Instead of doing, because I'm going to show it on the screen. Like, so you do a light flash, the whole screen goes white, and then it comes back, and it takes about 5 seconds, or maybe 4 seconds. But it's like, guys, speed it up. Just have there be a puff of smoke on screen or a flash of light. Don't get rid of the screen, and then puff of smoke, cat. Puff of smoke, Naomi. Puff of smoke. Like, have it happen within 1 second. It would have helped so much. Like, because it's those little things that, like, you never would imagine that the amount of time it takes to transform would be something you end up being frustrated by. But it's those little things that eat up just a bit of time here and there. Like,
it's like, oh, I don't want to transform. Let's see if I can find a break in the fence instead. And it's just like,
exactly, because I don't want to have to get off my sheep and transform and blah, 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 blah. And like, and the same thing with the sheep, the screen going black whenever the sheep runs up instead of just having the sheep run up. Like, I don't know if you played Red Dead Redemption.
I have not.
Right? Okay, but you're familiar with the game, obviously. Okay, well, and in the same way, they had this unskippable thing. Wherever you killed an animal, you then have to watch, like, a 6-second movie of him harvesting the animal skins. And the first couple of times you see it, like, oh, it's cool that they put that in. And then by time number 20, you're like, oh, God, why can't I skip this? And it's the same feeling, you know? It's just, it's minor frustrations that kind of dig in on you. And it's very frustrating as a consequence.
I saw people complaining. I think it's been fixed. Maybe it was fixed now, but I think on consoles there was this problem with texture pop-in. Like, it was causing, like, flashing.
It was real bad on the PlayStation 5. I loaded up the PlayStation 5 and the pop-in was not good. Like, not good at all.
And it was, like, weird that they weren't fixing that, but they were fixing, like, some other weird stuff. I was like, I think you should fix that first, because that's...
Yes, that would be the highest priority here, guys.
Yeah, maybe it was too difficult, but...
I loaded it up, well, I'm sure they fixed it hopefully they fixed it by now. But, you know, because I loaded it up on PlayStation 5 just to see what it was like. I wanted to see if we had any major differences in the gameplay, and there aren't. There aren't at all. It's not like it uses the PlayStation 5's ridiculous controller to do anything. But then I immediately went back to playing it on PC. Because, you know, I just did not want to put up with any technical issues at all. And on PC, it runs great. Like, it really does. I had no problems whatsoever from beginning to end on the game. Played perfectly the whole time. Hopefully you were similar. Did you have any major glitches?
No. Not really. Not with PC. So I felt very grateful that I was playing on PC because it sounded like...
Oh, yeah. Apparently, I don't know about the Xbox version. I don't have a Game Pass, so I never loaded it up on Xbox, because I'm not going to buy the game, you know. I'll buy the game twice. I'm not going to buy the game 3 times. I'm not crazy.
It's not Deadly Premonition. Come on.
I know. Oh, God, how many times have I bought Deadly Premonition? If you count copies I've given away to other people, like 45, 50 times. I love that game. Oh, man. All right, so let's get towards closing this out with some final thoughts on the game. So I'll start with my thoughts here, which is that overall, I mean, just as someone who is always looking for him to make something as transformative and, like, brilliant as Deadly Premonition again, obviously I'm disappointed. Like, you see the seeds of Deadly Premonition, the DNA of Deadly Premonition, and his style in this. Like, you can see how it influenced it. You see how it feels like it in a lot of ways, but it doesn't have the in-depth character work that made Deadly Premonition 1 and 2 so special. Like, there are fun characters, and there are quirky characters, and there's a lot of good writing, but most of it is surface-level stuff. And at the end of the day, the thing that kept me from really signing off on this being a great game is, at the end of the day, I don't feel like I know who Naomi is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the end of the day, she was a cipher to me. She's just not a strong character like JJ or York Morgan or even David to a certain extent. Right? I don't feel like she has that next level kind of great character thing going on that his other leads do. And because you don't have this fantastic lead who we really get into. And I think that turns back around and addresses your issue with not feeling like you have the heart-to-heart talks with the members of the town that made all of the both of the Deadly Premonitions feel so good, is because we never really get a good sense of who Naomi is. Like, how can she have an in-depth conversation with anybody when all she ever wants to talk about is drinking and getting out of the town? You know?
Yeah,
What makes York
money.
Morgan so or money, yes, or being broke. Right? What makes York Morgan so special is we know everything about this man. To the point where when you go and see him having a conversation with someone, you can predict how he'll respond because we know what kind of a person he is. And I just think Naomi never reaches that level of being a fully realized character.
I mean,
and as a consequence,
she was kind of realized. It's just that she was selfish and...
She was selfish and shallow and all of that.
Seemed very annoyed most of the game. I mean, you could see her softening as the game's going through, and she
does get guilty and does a face turn at the end of the game, absolutely.
And you could see her like getting close to the townsfolk when she's going through the main story beats.
Yeah.
You could see her softening her views towards the town. I mean, she still said like goddamn hellhole, but it didn't seem
all
as
the time.
It didn't
harsh when she first gets there. That is my main issue of the game. What is your big takeaway as we wrap this up?
I think my main issue is, I guess maybe this is what Swery was going for, but there was no real answers to a lot of the main
questions in the game.
Questions of the game. We didn't find out what Naomi did to get that much in debt with Morning Bell. There was no like hint or anything of what she did. I wanted to know why she got into that much debt.
Well, although I gotta say, the game is very unclear about how much debt she is in. $25,000, $25 million, $250,000. It changes depending on whether you're looking at a number on a screen or whether you're talking to somebody.
Yeah. The murder mystery, the way it there was no
resolution.
Ending, it just fizzled. Like, oh yeah, just she's
back. There wasn't a murder mystery.
It didn't happen. Don't worry, the CEO died instead.
Yeah. While I'm happy with that result, I wasn't happy that there wasn't a mystery to solve.
Yeah, it would have been like if we went to investigate Greenvale in Greenvale, and then Anna just popped up. Like, just kidding.
I know, right? Like,
it's like, wait,
it's
what?
One of those things, and that's the strange thing about Swery as a creator is like, I know all of the like. If all of the, I mean, I don't think the glitches are intentional, obviously.
Oh, no.
No. The glitches aren't intentional. The mistakes in the crafting system aren't intentional. The fact that the combat's terrible, that's not intentional.
Well, I don't know about that. It seems like Swery really likes to punish completionists with the stamps. And then this game, I still have not completed. I still have, let me see what my
stamps you have left
list are here. So I've played 101 hours of this game. My achievements, I have 34 out of 42.
Oh, after that much time?
Yes. I still have to earn 500,000 pounds. I still have to do the 100 game overs. I think I'm at like 60 something.
Wow.
Acquire 200 sheep. I think I'm over 100 now. I didn't excavate 500 times yet. I have not won 100 drinking contests. I thought I've talked to over 28 NPCs, but I guess I haven't, which is weird because I've talked to everybody.
So many.
And I
people.
still need like 4 more buzzwords for the hottest buzz. You gotta fulfill 100 hot words.
Yeah, hot words, yeah.
And then the last one is fully enjoying the good life. But
Which is the platinum trophy, right?
so the stuff I have left to do
Yeah.
are like some of the grindiest shit.
I know. Okay, so you make a good point. He must
get some enjoyment. He must get some enjoyment.
It's like
torturing completionists.
But it's like all of the stuff about it being an unsatisfying mystery, because of the way she shows up at the end and because of the twist involving the CEO having been murdered weeks ago. Like, you know that this stuff is intentional. I just don't know if I can figure out what he's getting at yet. Because, like, the main theme of the game, is about, you know, problems with the media and sensationalism. But it's like, that only shows up right in the last hour of the game. Like, that's not
I
a
wish
theme
there was
for the
more
rest
of
the
a
game.
lead up to it.
Yeah, because
maybe if
like every
we
character
saw,
starts
like,
yelling about what the game is about, and I'm like, the game hasn't been about that until this second, though.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised when they were talking about a live stream and whatnot. I was like, why is this now come to like social?
Why is this suddenly about social media? Yeah, like this game has not been about social media at all, even a little.
It's been about. I mean, yeah, social media, where our Flamingo account, we were posting photos, but all we would see are the emojis. We wouldn't see any comments or anything like that. So that was a little strange. There is so much I did like about this game. Like, I liked doing the Flamingo stuff. It was fun, like, traveling around the countryside and seeing different aspects of England, I guess, country life. I wouldn't get as someone who lives in the Bay Area, California Bay Area. So there was things I did like about it, but I think the disappointment in the main mystery and just my frustrations with the grindiness of the crafting did put a damper after a while when I realized it wasn't. I had this excitement going in, okay, I'm doing all this stuff. Let's find out who, like, the real dark person in this town is, who would actually murder Elizabeth.
Yeah, it creates an expectation that the game never pays off, and that is to the game's detriment. I totally agree with you on that.
And I think my expectations were a little bit too high just based on that initial Kickstarter. I think if I didn't read through what they were planning with this game and kind of how in-depth the NPCs were going to be, the changing seasons, it felt like I was missing a big chunk of what was promised.
Right.
So that at the end kind of led to my disappointment. And I think if I didn't have those expectations going in, I'd be.
I suspect that's why I had a better experience with the game than you did, which is I didn't read any information about it on the Kickstarter. Like, here's the extent of my experience. Swery on Twitter said he had a new game to promote on Fig. So I went to the Fig thing and I'm like, oh, this seems shady. I'm not doing this. And then Swery came back 4 months later and was like, okay, yeah, that Fig thing was nonsense. I'm just doing it on Kickstarter. And then I'm like, well, here's my money. And then I went away for 4 years until it came out. I did not follow the development. I didn't read anything. Yeah. Every couple of weeks, I would get an email about what Swery was working on and how the good life was going. And I'm like, I'll just put that in storage and not read it because I don't want the game spoiled.
Yeah, so when I read the initial Kickstarter, it sounded like I said before, Daily Premonition on crack. Like,
no, it is a crazy version.
All these NPCs, they're going to have their own schedules. Yeah. You'll be able to spy on them, like as a cat, like looking through windows. Mm-hmm. You'll have changing seasons. I remember this line where Swery said, your rainy woods will be different than another person's rainy woods. Yeah. Like, your interactions with these NPCs
Will alter things.
will alter the world. How you react to them as Naomi will alter. And I felt like, oh wow, that's gonna be really cool. Like, because playing Deadly Premonition, I would talk to all these town folks. I learned so much more about them. I could see if I took that same kind of effort in putting it into Rainy Woods, my town would be completely different than, let's say, your town. And I was so excited about seeing that in the changing seasons with the snow and the falling leaves. I was looking forward to seeing that so much. And when I got it, it wasn't that at all.
No, that didn't make it into the game. I know.
So, and taking jobs, like, there were some jobs you could do, but it wasn't what it was. It was like, you could take jobs.
You had told me about that, and I saw references elsewhere that, like, you would have jobs to do to make money, and that didn't really happen in the game.
No, I mean, you could, there was one where you could deliver milk, and then there was mining, and I thought it'd be like, yeah, you can go to those areas and mine if you want to dig up, materials or diamonds or whatever to sell, but it wasn't really the job aspect that I thought it was.
Where you were working for someone and trying to do concrete goals for that person and being rewarded with money. Like, they really made it seem like she was going to be employed in Rainy Woods and have a bunch of different options of what that employment would be, and that just didn't end up in the game.
So I'm not sure if it's just because the idea was just too big.
Probably.
But I had that going into this game, and not seeing that expansiveness, I guess, put a damper on things, and I felt really bad, because of course you're not going to get everything that they list on their Kickstarter thing, but I was really hoping for a little bit more interactivity outside of just taking photos and finding an object for a person and bringing it back. I was hoping to see real change in the town with my presence, and that just was not there.
That did not end up happening. I get it.
And the ending was just confusing. It came out of left field. Like, yes, during the game we did some weird shit, like that UFO thing with the chickens. I was like, what am I seeing here? But I felt like it still didn't prepare me for that whole last act.
The last act was
with drugging a small
and again, the villain of the game only introduces himself like 1 hour before the end of the game, and he shows up. Hi, I'm a ridiculous cartoon supervillain that doesn't feel like anything else in this game, and I have showed up just to be a bad guy. Like, well, that seems weird. Like,
another fun little tip here. If you are trying to do side missions and stuff, it's a good place to, before doing the last mission, like drugging the kid, you can go back to the doctor, or the mad doctor dude, and he will heal you and give you like you could buy cookie things from him that will fill up your hunger meter,
right? Because you
for
can't
really cheap.
Yeah, because you can't.
Since you can't talk to the doctor.
Well, no, but you can't go to any of the townspeople, right? After you've started kidnapping people, so he will provide all of your.
Oh no! After no, it's only until you do the third mission when they turn against you. So if you don't complete that little third kidnapping thing, you could do a lot of the side stuff. with the mad doctor being your doctor and pay a lot less money. Yeah.
That is cool. I didn't know that. So the thing that
make sure you complete Lucy's emails.
Yes.
Before you get to the epilogue, or you won't be able to complete
them. They're locked away. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of quests that get locked away if you don't complete them in time, like the one where in the cottage at White Estate, Martha will be locked away there, and she asks you to go check on her family. And if you don't do that immediately, and you keep doing the quest, well, you're never going to be able to do that again, because once you end the game, she's not locked in house arrest anymore. So like there are time-sensitive ones, but you'll have a good sense, I think, of which ones are time-sensitive, and you have to do right away.
Yeah, like if it's story related, and it's like, well, it's gonna change the story. Yeah.
And like, for example,
Uh,
I started path B too early. And so there were like 2 quests I was supposed to do with Martha that I just wasn't able to do until the post game because Martha disappears at the start of Route B, and then, you just don't see her again for a long time until you complete
yeah.
it, and then she goes straight into house arrest, so you still can't do the mission. So yeah, like if you don't do the Martha stuff immediately upon getting it at the start of the game before starting path B, you are going to have to wait till post game to do it. And there's a bunch of stuff like that in the game.
So I guess our advice is do Path A,
Yes.
and if you're really keen on getting a lot of the side missions done before the post game, start talking to characters.
Yeah,
and
as much as possible.
Check your email as often as you can, and you'll get like a new thing from Lucy. A lot of hers are, take photo of this thing, take a photo of that thing, cook this meal, and then take a photo of it.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
enjoy the meals. Like the meals she has you cook, those were a lot of fun.
Don't worry about the E ones. The one from Elizabeth, those are available post.
Manette. Yeah. But you gotta do the Lucy stuff while there's still a morning bell to reward you. Because, spoiler alert, morning bell goes down pretty hard.
Yeah.
Okay, and
so I guess to sum it up, there are things I really liked about it. I think it suffered a bit from the grindiness of the gameplay.
Absolutely.
And kind of the surface level character interactions we got during the game. I felt like I wasn't really getting the full story.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if it's because I just wasn't following it.
Oh, I don't think
it could be.
I don't think it was you that was at fault here. I really don't.
I know Swery was trying to go for kind of an off the wall, like a fairy tale type of thing.
Oh, yeah, and that's why there are 2 fairy tales, like stories showing up the different acts of the game. Because he wants to have it that, the whole thing is kind of like a myth and like a children's story. So
yeah, it was trying to go for that in. Oh, I forgot to say, were you curious about Swery's conversation?
Yes! I was going to ask you to tell me that at the end.
Okay. So, when you complete the game, you'll start back up at bar 1977, and at one of the tables, there'll be Swery and a full spread out of, like, food and beer and whatnot. And if you backed at a certain tier, you could have a conversation with Swery. It's a dinner with Swery reward. So if you didn't have a high enough tier, he would just tell you, I can't talk to you. Go look up the Good Life Kickstarter on Google or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you talk to him, you sit down, you'll have this conversation about entropy and time moving forward for super fast. And what happens is every time you talk to him, you'll move forward another moon cycle.
Oh.
So, yeah. You'll get that spending a full year in Rainy Woods in no time.
Oh, neat.
So the first time you do it, he'll disappear, and he won't come back until after the people stop turning into cats and dogs, and then he'll reappear. And after the second time, he's just, I don't know if it's a glitch or not, but he'll constantly be at the bar.
You can just always skip ahead.
Yeah, you could skip ahead so many days. So if you're trying to collect aluminum cans and you need those trash cans to reset, or you need to other items you want to dig around town to reset, just talk to Swery.
Yeah.
And time will move forward a whole bunch. Also, it lets you take pictures of cats and dogs pretty fast. Of course,
yeah, whenever you want to. And those are always good for some sweet emojis.
So if you guys are really interested in seeing what all the special DLC for backing the Kickstarter...
Oh my god, I just found a zombie hand in the wild.
Oh yeah, that's one of the, there's like 5 of them. 5 zombie things. You have to collect them for a picture for E in an email. So if you guys are interested in seeing all sort of the cool DLC you got for backing the Good Life on Kickstarter, I do have a video on my personal channel, Whitney Plays, where I kind of go through what's there, so you can see all the special outfits.
Well, I'm going to go do that. That's fascinating.
The full conversation with Swery and what happens. Yeah.
Neat.
I just want to put that out there.
I'll say this, and this is the thing that happens to me whenever I play a new Swery game. I try to sit down and imagine the game we would get if just once, the video game industry gave Swery the kind of money, time, and resources they give to Kojima over and over and over again. Like, what is the game we would get? Because it's like,
well, it would certainly be less buggy.
Oh yeah, no, but his whole career, he's always had these gigantic ideas that are unbelievably ambitious and, for the most part, play incredibly well and do a great job. But he is always hampered by these incredibly restrictive budgets and technical limitations. So he's smaller, shorter games than he wants to every single time. And it's like, what if he could actually just be unleashed with a real AAA budget for the first time, and we would get what is his Death Stranding, you know? Like, that is what I want to know.
Yeah. And what I do like about Swery's games is a lot of times they do seem bright and cheery, but there's a lot of, like, darkness under the surface.
Oh, absolutely.
And going into this game, it was nice to see that it might look all cheery, but man,
they are not
they have issues
around
in Tiny Woods.
They really do.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever as simple as it seems. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up here. I hope you've enjoyed our deep dive into Rainy Woods. If you haven't played the game, I'm
complaining.
I'm sorry that we have spoiled literally everything about the game. Sorry about that, but...
Oh, you know what? Wait, I was going to ask you, who was your favorite character?
That's tough. You know what? It's probably going to be Redmond White.
Okay.
A, because of the amazing murder story, but B, because of that quest, it makes you, like, take the quest to all of the different locations to find out the story of
I hated that quest.
I know, I hated it, but it screwed me over so much, but I ended up just, like, respecting the game for how hard it screwed me with that quest, and it made me love him even more.
Another little tip here, guys, for his second quest, where you need to take a picture of the bust in the garden, you need to be facing the house, the back of the house, when you take the photo of the bust. Or it doesn't count. Do not be like me, who's brought that bust about 5 times trying to get the picture.
Yeah, no,
You have to get the gate in the photo.
Yeah, I actually took, I lucked out, because the first time I did the quest, I just took a shot of it from every angle. Like, I just circled around it, taking picture after picture after picture, and one of them ended up working.
Yeah. So you have to be facing the house. You can't just walk in, place it down in the flowers, and take a shot. Yeah. No, you need to be turning around to get the gate and the house and all that shit.
Okay, so who is your favorite character?
I guess I was going to kind of say him too, just because of that whole dark, I murdered my father. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, and it's the one of the few times in the game where it feels like the game is going full Swery. You know? Like, this is what I'm expecting out of a Swery game, you know?
And I was kind of amused with Virginia in her streaming.
I know.
She was so mean to Naomi, too.
She's so brutal to Naomi the whole game, and every time we get a glimpse of her streaming and her shilling products is so entertaining.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny to see when I did the ending thing, when I had to do the cat.
Yeah.
The cat way, to see her streaming with, like, the product and stuff.
I know!
Was kind of nice.
It was such a good scene. All right, so that is The Good Life. If we find out more about it, expect to hear more from us. We will see you back here for more Swery content, as there's more Swery content to do. Odds are, at some point, I'm going to demand we both replay Spy Fiction, and then talk about that.
Oh, I've already played it, so yeah, we can do that.
I'll be the one replaying it then. Because I played it when it first came out, and I remember, like, nothing. So that'll be fun. I
streamed it.
I know, I saw that. It was very cool. So we're gonna, there's more stuff upcoming, but for now, why don't we each tell people where to find our other stuff?
Okay, well, you can find me at Whitney Plays on YouTube or Kemi_row on Twitter. I post a lot of Deadly Premonition and Silent Hill things. I stream Monday through Thursday most weeks. I stream like horror themed games to raise money for Extra Life. I'm actually going to be doing a year end 24-hour stream next month
She
in
does this
December.
every year, and it's always great.
Yeah. So on the
What do you have
28th,
planned for this year?
Yeah. So on December 28th, starting at 5 p.m., I'm going to do my 24-hour stream where I'm going to be streaming the first 3 Silent Hill games back to back. And my goal this year is 5K, and I'm already over $3,000. So I'm really hoping I can make it, and to kind of
Incentivize.
Oh my god. Thank you.
No
For
problem.
some reason I couldn't get that word out.
It happened.
I'm offering to do some raffle prizes.
Ooh.
Where if you donate over like a certain amount, you can win a Silent Hill themed prize. So I've bought some keychains from Fangamer, and some bigger items. Like I have a Gecko mini Robbie, a plush Robbie from Fangamer, and some of the new art, 3D art that's being sold on the Konami shop. So there's some big prizes. I hope you guys will check it out. I have more information on my Twitter, but I'll be, posting about this all month long. I'll put a link in the YouTube video to my Extra Life campaign where you can find out more information. So if you're into watching me stream Silent Hill games that I really love and I gush about a lot, just as much as Deadly Premonition, you might enjoy my 24-hour stream as I get tireder and tireder and trying to fight.
I don't understand why she starts it at 5 p.m. when she's already had a full day and is tired. But this is how she does
because
it.
Because it makes it... Well, a lot of people are able to tune in at that time.
That's true.
So if I start, I'll have a good audience, and then as the night goes on...
It'll build from there.
You know. Yeah. So, look forward to
that. I hopefully will be able to stop by for part of it to see how you're doing in Silent Hill, because that seems like
you can drop by into the Discord and
absolutely,
and keep me awake too.
That is definitely my plan. For me, Hidden Object Guru YouTube channel, which in addition to daily streams at 9 p.m. Eastern, and of course noon streams on the weekends, we also are the #1 source for coverage of the Dark Pictures franchise. So lots and lots and lots of stuff to find there. We are on an really, at this point, endless quest to try and ferret every single secret out of that franchise. So it's going pretty well, gotta say.
Nice.
Yes. I mean, we're not as involved. There's no Hidden Object Guru stuff in the games the way you can see a picture of Whitney in The Good Life.
Hey, I paid for that.
I know you did.
So.
Worth every penny, I'm thinking. Well, we can talk about that later. But yeah, drop by the Hidden Object Guru YouTube page for lots of stuff from me, both streaming and Dark Pictures content. All right, so I guess that's that. We will see you back here when there's more to discuss, but until then, au revoir.
Bye.